Chapter 1, Lesson 1. What will we learn? To name points, lines, and planes, to name segments and rays, to sketch intersections of lines and planes, and finally to solve real-life problems involving lines and planes. Our undefined terms in geometry are the point, line, and the plane. A point has no dimension. It is represented by a dot or point. It's labeled with a capital letter using the symbol of the dot or the name point. A line has one dimension. It's represented by the two arrowheads and extends indefinitely in both directions. Through any 2 points, there is exactly one line. You can use any 2 points on a line to name it. You can use a letter at the end of a line, such as line L for this example. You can name it line AB or line BA. You can use the symbol for the line or the name of the line. A plane has 2 dimensions. It is represented by a shape that looks like a floor or a wall. Usually it's in the shape of a parallelogram. It extends indefinitely without end in technicality, but again we usually use a rectangular parallelogram to display or show it. On a 3D shape it would be the side of the shape. Through any 3 points not on the same line, there's exactly one plane. You can use 3 points that are not all on the same line to name the plane. So any 3 points inside of a plane to name it. You can also use the general name. So plane M, plane ABC, you could name it plane BAC, CBA, and as long as you have 3 letters in the plane that are points represented, you can use 3 letters. Our defined terms, we have a segment, a ray, and opposite rays. A line segment or segment AB, again written this time without the lines. It has definite endpoints AB, and it's all points that are in between there. Line segment AB can also be named line segment BA. A ray, using the ray symbol that you see, consists of one endpoint and all points that lie on the same side of A as B. In this case, line segment and line and ray all have different symbols. Notice a ray AB versus ray BA are 2 different rays because they have different endpoints and they show the direction that the ray is drawn. You always name a ray starting with the end point. Opposite rays, if a line AB is between A and B, then we have CA and CB are called opposite rays. We have our end point, that would be point C in this case, and we have our 2 opposite rays, CA and CB, which go in opposite directions. Another definition, collinear points are points on the same line. Coplanar points are points that lie in the same plane. We'll look at some examples next. Give 2 other names for line DE and for plane C. Line DE can have 2 other names such as line ED or line R. Notice there's a little R next to the line. We could also name it using the A that's on the line. Again, any 2 points to name the line. So line ED, we could also name it line R as 2 examples. Plane C. Plane C could also be named, that's again the letter here in the corner of the plane, but we can name any 3 points, so we could use plane DEF, any 3 points. We could use plane AEF, and so forth. Lots of names. Name 3 points that are collinear. Collinear again is on the same line, so an example of 3 points collinear would be points D, A, and E. Name 4 points that are coplanar. Example, in the same plane, D, A, E, and F. Next example, give another name for line segment TR and name all rays with endpoint P. Which of these rays are opposite rays? Another name for line segment TR would be segment RT. Name all rays with endpoint P. Which of these rays are opposite rays? All rays with endpoint P would be ray PR, ray PQ, PS, and ray PT. We'll put a point on P to make sure we know that it's a point there. Opposite rays would be PR and PT. PQ and PS. Our next example is to do some sketching. Sketch 2 intersecting lines A and B that both lie in plane W. We'll start with our plane W, intersecting lines A and B. Now, because they're naming the lines, we write it at the end of the line or next to the end of the line. Sketch a line D that intersects plane D in only one point. Label the point A. Lots of ways that we can draw this, but we have a plane D. We have a line D that intersects at point A. We'll label our line D. Our last example, sketch a plane that contains PQ and a point B not on line PQ. Plane X, we have a line PQ, so we have those are 2 points on the line since it's named with 2 points. Again, one letter would mean it's next to it. And a point B that is not on the line. So somewhere not on the line, still in the plane, we have point B. Our next example, sketch 2 planes R and S that intersect in the line AB. So we have 2 planes, R and plane S, that intersect at the line AB. And our next example, the diagram shows a juice box named 2 different planes that contain line QP. We have plane QPR That would be the bottom. And plane, QPN. That would be the front side here. Next thing I'd like you to do is try some of the problems in the section on your notes labeled On Your Own, and we'll take a look at the problems in class tomorrow.